Hi everyone, I'm so excited. Today is our first episode of What's the Story. Before I announce our guest, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast. It really means a lot. We've been working really hard on this for a little while. And so without further ado, I think my shirt gives a little hint of who my guest is, but my guest is Miss Ally Buyak. So let's give her a warm welcome.
Hi.
Hey, there's no live studio audience,
Hi,
but
Jason.
hey.
Thank you for having
What
me
up?
on What's the Story?
Yes.
I'm so excited
First
to be
episode,
here.
best episode. So we both did the Dublin City University
Yes.
program.
Best experience.
It was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you choose the program? I mean, I think we have similar reasons for why we chose, but...
So I knew always that I wanted to study abroad, and obviously with COVID, that put a little bit of a barrier in what was going to happen. Like, could we study abroad, or what's the health protocol, stuff like that. So when COVID was finally getting a little bit better, I knew, okay, junior year, don't give up on the dream of living abroad. So I was like, okay, we both were like, we got to do it. We got to apply. And so Dublin has always been like a very special place to me because my family has a really good family friends there. And I went there when I was a freshman in high school, and I loved it. But obviously it was a different experience then because I was younger, like was with my family. So obviously it was way different. But I just knew, like, how could I not go back and live it more for myself rather than, like, just on vacation with my family. And obviously it's so different living there for 4 months rather than vacationing there for a week. So just that alone, just having family connections and family ties there. I also loved how the program, we immersed ourselves, like, fully into the Irish culture. We went to an Irish university. So that was a huge thing for me. So we really, really got to experience Ireland.
I feel like you got so much out of the program. It was just a really magical experience.
Oh my God, like actually
because
magical.
The people there are just so wonderful.
They are.
And
And that was a huge thing too. Just even from my family trip there for maybe 5 days, you could just tell the people there are just so welcoming. And that's why like my parents have stayed friends with these people for so long, because how could you ever lose connection with people who genuinely are just great human beings? I just knew I would feel so comfortable there.
So in our podcast, obviously, it's called What's the Story? Favorite thing that people would always say. And I like it because it prompts you to really say something. Like when people say, like, what's good or what's up, like, I never know what to say. I'm always good. Like, but when someone says, what's the story? You're, I did this today. I did this. And so that's what I kind of wanted to do, is have a place for people to share their stories. Because what helped us, when we had our pre-departure orientation, someone who studied in Dublin came in and she told us story. And I thought that gave a better look into what the program was about. Because you read the program qualifications and info, and it's so overwhelming. And you're like, I don't know what this is going to be like. And you don't know what to expect. So basically what the point of the podcast is, we're going to have 2 words that we're going to pick from random from this travel stories box. And one is going to be a fun word, and then one's going to be a more professional development word, because what we do at Klein Go is we have these communication-based programs, and you get the fun out of it, but you also get some good skills out of it. So I'm going to have you pick out of this box, so feel free, you just slide it out, and then you can just draw 2 cards, and then read the words on them.
So I read them. Friends.
Okay, so we got friends, and then next one? Independence. Okay, awesome. I think we should start with the fun one first.
So when you think about friends, just so many memories like flood to my head, just because, I mean, the entirety of the time we were there, we literally met, I know you could agree with this, we met some of the greatest people that are just going to be lifelong friends. I know it's a cliche. People say that who have studied abroad, like, oh my gosh, I met like people from all over the world, but we literally did. I think that's the beauty of this program specifically, is because we were in an Irish institution. Majority of the kids there were from Ireland. So we met so many great Irish people, but we also met so many international people as well, which was our primary friend group, because all the international people, we all were there for just that one semester, and no one really knew anyone. So we stuck together and built a family, honestly. When I hear the word friends, and correlate it back to our experience. It's family because no one else has ever shared that experience, the same one.
No, I agree.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
so unique to
it's such a special bond, like genuinely.
Yeah.
So I just think like there's so many memories, but one that I always think about is obviously St. Paddy's Day because it was obviously a monumental day in Ireland and like all throughout like the world, honestly, because it's just a happy day to celebrate. And I think it was extra special because COVID finally, in Ireland at least, all the restrictions got lifted.
Yeah.
Basically a few weeks after we were there, everything got lifted. So that was their first St. Paddy's Day in like 2 years where they fully got to celebrate on O'Connell Street. The whole city was celebrating.
It was like the reopening.
Exactly. The reopening of like everything. It was like a whole day experience, which was like...
We had a day.
So we had an actual day. We had a story.
Yeah.
So like that day just was amazing because not only were we with our international friends like in the beginning of the day, but then we met up with our Irish friends later. It just was such a magical day and everything was perfect that day and everything worked out like amazing. So that's a story I love to share just because it was so incredible.
That was a really incredible day. That was so fun because we all really stuck to our guns, got up early, did what we needed to do, and we were off into the city. So when I think of friends, you know, that's definitely one of the first things I think of too, but I also think of how close we became with people in such a short amount of time. And two people I want to highlight were my roommates, Allison and Diarmid.
Love you guys.
And, love y'all. I just have never experienced something like that where you become so close with someone and so comfortable around them. A story I kind of like to tell, the first day I got to my apartment and the lounge was like a mess. It was like a dark hallway and I was like, oh no, this is going to be so bad. And I went in with a negative mindset.
Same kind of, definitely.
It was like that first day, you're jet lagged,
tired, confused. You're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
Like so like hot and sweaty from traveling.
No phone service.
No phone service. Just everything was so blah that first day. And I wish I could actually go back to it, as much as that sounds crazy. But so my lounge, I remember I walked in and it was just kind of messy. And I definitely feel like I get along better with girls than I do guys. And it just looked like a lot of guys lived there. And so I was like, oh no, I don't know if they're going to be nice to me. I don't know what's happening. And it took a couple days to meet them because we got there so early.
We got there early before everyone.
And so I was like, oh no, like this is going to be bad. And then that night before we went to New Bar for the first time, we met Diarmid out in the hallway and he's just such a magical, special soul.
Very special.
Very special. I haven't met anyone else like him before.
Very unique and like true to himself.
So true to himself, so eloquent and well-spoken.
Yes.
And just genuinely the definition of a true friend.
Yes.
Always looking out for others, always down to include people. Just so special. And, you know, we got to hang out with him that night, and it was just such a fun night. We had such a good time. Because he's not a big going out
person,
but he did it to meet us. And then the next day he showed us around the city. And that was our first taste. Not your first taste, but my first taste into the city center. Yeah. And so that was just really magical. Then getting to meet Allison later that week too. Like it was this nice dichotomy. I had a very close guy friend, which I don't really have many very close guy friends. So that was really nice to have someone I could confide in and stuff and tell stuff to. And then Allison was just so great too because she introduced us to her circle. All of them so welcoming.
Those two, love them to death. Our definition of true friends. They are the most welcoming individuals ever. Like, Diarmid, right off the bat, let me come out with you guys because I'm trying to put myself in his situation. Like,
I'd be probably hiding in my room.
That's what I'm saying, or be like, oh, the international. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't realize, oh my gosh, people are international. They don't know anyone. That honestly altered my mindset. You should be reaching out to the international kids. They're in a whole new environment that you're used to for so long. So it's like what he did was honestly so special. And he showed us around where he's from. And then Allison too, bringing us into her already established friend group of 3 years.
It was just seamless. It was so seamless. Even if Allison wasn't there, you could just talk to any of them or see any of them. And it was just
fun too.
So much fun.
And no drama.
No drama.
There was never any drama.
No.
They always just wanted to have good fun, like good crack.
Good crack, yes.
Like,
so if anyone doesn't know, crack is like slang word for fun. Love that. And it's spelled CRAIC, if anyone didn't know.
What's the crack?
But yeah, so I think those stories we both told just shows how great it is when you go study abroad or study away because you will make these lifelong relationships and stuff. Our next topic, which is independence.
Honestly, the study abroad experience made me so much more independent, especially here too. So I feel like I brought those independent skills back to America because
I agree.
Even just going into Dublin by myself, like taking the bus by myself, spending the day in the city by myself. I never really did that here, but I really learned how to be more independent and comfortable with just being by myself, which I am so grateful for because there are situations in life where you need to rely on yourself and be independent. So this whole experience really, really made me more confident in that aspect.
Yeah.
And just even simply just going into the city on my own, walking around, doing directions, figuring out where I want to go. I brought that back here. So now I'm just so much more comfortable.
So my little story about independence, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking about this on a podcast, but I went on a date while I was in Ireland, and I'd never been on one before.
Yeah. Did we go on our first date?
I think we both did, yeah. For some reason, I was in this YOLO mindset while I was there. You only live once. Like, you got to get out of your comfort zone. And I did. I just wanted to do something for myself.
And meet someone.
Have fun and meet someone.
Like you could just be good friends.
And then we became friends after that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Went out the city by myself at night. We went, got food and drinks. That was just such a cool experience when I made it happen. And that's your study abroad time. Do as much as you can.
Yeah.
Genuinely, these skills that you gain from studying abroad or away are just so beneficial. Again, with independence, when we went to Boston this summer, I flew home by myself. I'd never flown by myself before. I'd flown with friends.
I never
in a million years would ever have done that before.
And I genuinely don't think I have really ever traveled much on my own before.
There's a lot that goes into travel, and now I feel so well versed in traveling, and I just feel like I know how to balance stuff now.
Yeah.
Everyone still procrastinates. I still procrastinate a little bit.
Absolutely.
But the thing is,
nature.
I am a lot better at not doing it now, and I know when I need to get my stuff done. Sometimes it'll be Thursday night, and people are like, hey, want to go out? And I'm like, sorry, I have stuff to do Friday. I have work. And you find that balance.
Yeah.
So
another thing, you don't even notice that you're gaining these skills while you're there.
I felt like I didn't change, and then I came home, I'm like, wait, what?
Exactly. But reflecting back on it, I really learned so much about myself and the world in general.
One last thing I kind of want to touch on is when you study abroad and study away, when you come home, it's definitely a very sad time.
My gosh,
it's like devastating because you had such a great time. But it's also a really great period of introspection, and you reflect back on your experience, and you really realize how much you've changed. I feel like I've been better at putting myself out there. For this job here at Klein, I have to go do presentations a lot, and now I feel like I can do a presentation in my sleep.
Anywhere.
And now that makes me more confident for interviews. Any final thoughts
Wow,
before we wrap up?
I could talk for years.
I could talk for years,
like
too.
literally years.
I know.
I don't even know what to say. Honestly, it was just. It sounds so corny saying it. It was genuinely, so far in my life, it has been the most life-changing experience.
Oh.
We were 21, 20 years old, living in a different country alone for 4 months. It was life-changing. Like, how could it not be? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know. Even whether it's you do our DC program that's 3 days in DC, even on our little trips, I felt like every little trip we did, I got a different experience out of and different skills.
Sure.
I just think
it's crazy
that studying abroad or studying away, if you have the opportunity to do it, please try to apply to do it. Doesn't matter if it's a 3-day program, if it's a full semester, if it's an internship abroad, anything, because you will get so much skills out of it, and some of the ones we mentioned today. You don't realize it until you do the experience.
And you come back from it and you reflect.
Yeah. So you know what? Put yourself out there. Get uncomfortable.
That's what life is sometimes.
Yeah,
exactly. You're gonna have to be putting
sometimes you have to put yourself in these situations, and most of the time you're not going to regret doing that.
Yeah. And you're going to come out better with more wisdom.
Wisdom, yes.
Wisdom. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of wisdom.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining the podcast today. Thank you for being my first guest. From me and from Ally, this has been What's the Story?
Woo! Thank you.